the late 1980s. So Utah playing their first 6 games of this new campaign at home. Holy Cross playing their first 6 away from home in Worcester, Massachusetts. And the Crusaders have the inaugural possession tonight. Holy Cross playing 3 high major opponents out of the gate. They opened at Providence a week ago. BYU, as we mentioned, 2 nights ago, and they get Utah here in the Huntsman Center tonight. This is Nugent on the low block, out to Boston, who stepped out of bounds, and Holy Cross turns it over. Utah rolling with the same starting 5 that they have in the first 2 games of the season.
Well, not the way you want to start your first possession on the road with a turnover. Joe Nugent had it down around the low block. Now, he's mostly a face-the-basket guy. Obviously, he wanted no part of handling down there with his back to the basket.
Utah trailed for 30 of the 40 regulation minutes before storming back down the stretch of the second half and surviving in overtime here against Weber State Saturday night. Terrence Brown had a career-high 36, elevates and knocks it down. His first made jump shot outside the painted area in a Utah uniform.
Just amazing how he lived on that right block in the last game to the tune of 36 points.
Holy Cross, like many teams in college basketball, dealing with a bunch of newcomers on this squad. Joe Nugent, Tyler Boston, both returners from last year.
Timeout, here comes the trophy. The first three-point shot in the first half in 3 games. How about that?
Exercising some opening week demons.
They were 10th in the nation last year in three-point percentage. It's amazing. 0 for 24 in the first half in their first 2 games. Now they'll heat up in the second half, or they have in the first 2 games anyway.
Terrence Brown missed off the heel. Hayes on the offensive glass puts it home.
Nice rebound and put back by Josh Hayes. Josh Hayes is not a physical presence inside, only 196 pounds, but he's 6'9", and he's got arms from here to Hoboken, Chris. He is a long 6'9".
First-year Ute out of Gainesville in Florida. Was at Northwest Florida State, a junior college last year. Tyler Boston elevates and knocks down his first attempt. Had 25 a week ago on opening night against Providence.
He's their leading scorer after 2 games. He only played 10 games last year and showed great promise before he had a season-ending injury. How about this? In his first 10 games last year, he was 9 for 11 from the 3-point line.
Seydou Traore. It wiggled out. He was 0 for 8 from the field Saturday night after a team-high 23 against San Jose State in the season opener, and it's Holy Cross basketball off the missed shot.
He was 0 for 7 the other night from the 3-point line. Just an amazing 2 games for him. A career-high 23 points one night where he couldn't miss from the 3-point line, and then he couldn't find the basket, bottom of the basket for love or money on Monday night.
Dave Warren rolls it in, plus the foul. A much better start for Holy Cross in this game. Never really got up off the mat after falling behind 10-0 to BYU in Provo Saturday night, but back-to-back makes and a chance at 3 for the junior out of Plano, Texas. And we mentioned this is the 3rd all-time meeting between Holy Cross and Utah. Utah took the first 2. This is the first time they've met on the hardwood since 1988. Utah more than 90 points in the first 2 meetings against the Crusaders as Dawes grabs the rebound and draws a foul. It's on Joe Nugent.
Dawes, an early rebound coming off his 6th career double-double. He has really asserted himself on the glass, so to speak. 6'9", 230. I think he has a chance to be an all-conference type player this year.
Here comes Terrence Brown wheeling downhill. The extra pass. McHenry raises and buries the 3. So Don McHenry picks up where he left off. Had 4 triples against Weber State.
And a great what they call hockey assist to Terrence Brown, who flung it across the defense. One more pass to an open McHenry.
Speaking of passes, a beautiful pocket pass from Aiden Richard to the freshman Aiden Disu, who will take more free throws for Holy Cross. Dave Paulson, year 3 as the Crusaders head man back in the Patriot League, where he was the 3-time coach of the year at Bucknell. Also spent 6 years as George Mason's head coach. He's been around college basketball for a long time up in that Northeast region.
514 career wins. He's only one of 22 active head coaches with over 500 Division I wins. He's also twice Division III National Coach of the Year. What a nice man. He sought us out to come over and visit for a little bit. I told him his trip to BYU, you could not schedule a tougher road trip flying across 2 time zones, going to the number 8 team in the nation and playing at altitude. He could have just driven up the road to UConn. He said he kind of came away with the same results. Nice man, though. I enjoyed our visit with him.
Well, tied at 7 here early. Almost 3.5 minutes in. A grown man finish inside for Keanu Dawes, who had a double-double Saturday.
Boy, he just bullied his way, like you say, a grown man move there. That's what you call sawmill strong, getting to the basket on that one.
Jacob Patrick, the sharpshooter from Germany, first off the bench for Utah tonight, replacing Josh Hayes. Two teams that have a small ball starting 5. Richard, baseline, blocked initially by Dawes, but got it back and scored.
Well, that's the way to stay with it if you're Aiden Richard. Instead of giving up on the play after the block, again, going right back, getting it, and he got himself an early one. When I looked at this Crusader lineup, I couldn't help but think about what Al McGuire used to call a donut team with nothing in the middle. They start a point guard and then 4 guys, 6'6" or 6'7", but they're bringing in a little size now with Ryan Declan at 6'8", 257.
Yeah, Declan Ryan, 6'8". You mentioned almost 260 pounds. Here comes Terrence Brown, and he lays it in. Give him one on the house. How many times did we see that Saturday night down the stretch against Weber State?
Time and time and time again off of that right block. And I kept saying, will someone get to that right side and force him left? When I said that, he crossed over and got to the basket with his left hand. But he is extraordinarily explosive from about the three-point line to the basket.
Was the NEC most improved player last season at Fairleigh Dickinson, where he finished 8th nationally at 20.5 points per game. Early returns this year, just 2 games in the books, but 24 points per game for Terrence Brown, his first 2 go-arounds in a Utah uniform. Utah by 3.
Utah switching just about everything, including ball screens here early on.
Boston can't hit. And here come the running Utes off the miss. McHenry can't hit. Traore misses the putback.
Traore is just having all kinds of trouble, as I said, finding the bottom of the basket after a career-high 23 in his opening game. Joe Nugent, he kind of knows where his bread is buttered on around that three-point line. He's off to a little bit of a slow start. Second leading scorer a year ago at 12.5, only averaging about 7 after 2 games now.
And Traore off the Dawes three-point miss. Whistled for an over-the-back foul. Tied at 12 early, about 5 minutes in. Monday night college basketball from Salt Lake City.
Successful players during one of the most successful times in the history of Utah basketball.
Played for the late, great Rick Majerus, and you already kind of get the sense that he's got some Majerus in his head coaching flavor. First week as the Utah head coach here in Salt Lake City. Utah with wins over San Jose State and Weber State, and still 3 more games to go before their first road contest. Terrence Brown diving on the floor for the loose ball, and the possession arrow points the way of Utah.
Boy, that's a great play. You can talk all you want to about getting 36 points, but giving his body up to get that possession, as I've said, those are the type of plays that rub off on your teammates. If that guy's on the floor, I need to get on the floor next time. That is a great, great play by the FDU transfer. And there he is again on that right block.
Awfully tough to stop down there. Keanu Dawes was going to tap it back home, but had to wait for that ball to clear the cylinder. There's a low post touch for Declan Ryan, who misses the turnaround right-hand hook. A one-and-done trip for Holy Cross.
And nice post defense by Dawes, just staying down and making the player try to score over you. You don't have to panic down there. They don't get any points for just catching.
Aiden Richard boards the Obo Mate Abbey miss.
Richard is the leading rebounder after 2 games on this Crusader team.
Now Abbey grabbing The miss from Tyler Boston, and draws a foul from Declan Ryan.
Abby in a little early in this game. He only got 10 minutes last game, but when you got guys like Brown and McHenry playing in front of you, I got a feeling those minutes are going to be few and far between.
Josh Hayes, who started for Utah, back in. DeAndre Williams, who Dave Paulson calls a 6th starter on this team, 64th game in a Holy Cross uniform tonight, is in off the bench for the Crusaders. Sanders spots up in the corner and drills the 3.
Sanders just loves that right corner. He's coming off a game. He was 2 of 5 from out there against Weber State and had one in the opening game. He's making the most of James Okonkwo's absence and getting quality minutes as a freshman.
Another miss inside from Declan Ryan, and here come the running Utes. Terrence Brown will look to Alex Jensen as Utah gets set in its half-court offense. A 6 of 13 start from the field for Utah in this opening half tonight. Brown picked up by Boston, tripping and drawing a blocking foul. He just continues to find ways to get downhill.
He does. You know, this morning I was thinking, if I was coaching against him, how would I play him? You almost have to come off of that guy in the corner a little bit and kind of plug that gap up a little bit. But if that guy in the corner happens to be Jacob Patrick or Kendall Sanders, as you just saw, you got a great chance of giving up a made 3-point shot over there. So you have got to get down and just do everything you can to stay in front of Terrence Brown.
Kendall Sanders with a nice wheel around to the rim, and 5 straight for the freshman.
He gets better each and every game. I saw them in their opening exhibition game against Nevada, and I thought, hey, he's got a chance. He's got a chance. And he just, each time I've seen him, 3 regular season games now, and he just keeps getting better.
Monte Abbey whistled for the reach-in foul.
Here's Kendall Sanders, the freshman from LA that I was talking about. Really comfortable on a catch and shoot. I love the way he held that follow through there. I think is so important. This time he just blows his defender off and gets all the way to the basket. A 1 dribble drive, quick as a hiccup for a guy 6'8", 214 pounds.
John St. Germain will bounce it back to the big fella, and Declan Ryan whistled for a double dribble. Something to monitor for Holy Cross. Tyler Boston, who leads them in scoring through the season's first week, on that last Terrence Brown trip and fall around the basket, picked up his 2nd foul. So right now he's on the bench, and you figure we won't see him much the rest of this first half.
That's a good pickup. He's our leading scorer and a kid that can not only score but dishes it and is a really good defender. So yes, they will sorely miss him. Will Coach Paulson kind of roll the dice and get him back in the game?
Aiden Richard sticks the 3, his 2nd.
Forget about that 0 for 24 streak. Either they weren't aware or they didn't care, or both. They're shooting it in now a little bit from the 3-point line.
So Holy Cross back within a couple of points. Patrick launches and knocks down the 3.
Oh, I tell you, he has a sweet jump shot in that professional league, the BBL, that he played in Germany for 4 years. Only one of 2 guys to shoot over 50% from the field and 40% from the 3-point line, and he just showed you why. I tell you, that jump shot of his is sweet as church music. Here's Holy Cross hitting one from 3. Again, forget about that 0 for 24 streak with Aiden Richard here on the pull-up, and nice job here. And Jacob Patrick with a little room and sweet as church music just knocks out. That is a great point.
Was on Jason Kidd's staff each of the last 2 seasons with the Dallas Mavericks. Here in Salt Lake City with the Jazz a decade before that. Monte Abbey to the baseline, out to McHenry. Extra pass, it's Sanders. Wide to the left and taken by Nugent.
Nice rebound by Nugent going up in the crowd and kicking it out to DeAndre Williams, who is now playing the point.
Williams fades, fires, and fills it up. Had 11 points at Providence opening night and followed that up with 6 Saturday at BYU, and Holy Cross back within 3.
He led the team in assists at BYU with 3. Of course, there wasn't a whole lot of assists to be had down there, as BYU kind of jumped on him early and then boat raced him. And another really nice move by Kendall Sanders. I mean, I keep saying he gets better game to game. He keeps getting better kind of minute by minute. That was a finish with his offhand there. Very efficient drive as well.
Nugent can't hit. The rebound falls to Obomate Abbey. 7 points already off the bench for Kendall Sanders.
Utah has 6 guys in the scoring column here in the first 10 minutes, and Richard leading the Crusaders with 8 points and 4 rebounds.
Don McHenry connects for a second time from the outside, and Utah, 5 of its last 7 from the field. They've grabbed an 8-point opening half lead.
McHenry 4 for 11 from the 3-point line, including that great 3-point shot that sent the game into overtime on Saturday night.
Williams misses the runner. Holy Cross has cooled off considerably after a sizzling start from the field.
And it is just strictly one and done for the Crusaders, getting no offensive rebounds, not even go to the offensive glass.
Dave Paulson wants to talk things over after the Josh Hayes make on the inside. And Utah, with 7 straight points, a double-figure lead for the first time in this opening half.
And a really nice pass there by Jacob Patrick. Not only can he shoot it, he put that right on the money. And if you think he looks like he's a coach's son, he is a coach's son. His dad coached in that pro league that he played in, the BBL it's called in Germany, the top league, and his dad played at Stanford from, I think it was 87 to 91, where he played for the Hall of Famer Mike Montgomery and won the NIT in 1991.
So Utah got the bulk of their production from 2 guys, Terrence Brown, Don McHenry, a couple of nights ago. Seems like everybody's getting involved early in this game.
No question. Their ball movement is really good. One of the things I think Alex Jensen has instilled real early on is great, not only great ball movement, but they have great spacing. They space out around that 3-point line. They just don't stand there. They move, but they stay, as Alex Jensen's coach used to say, spaced and spread. The more spaced and spread, the better our offense is. And so their ball movement, their spacing has been excellent, and they are really sharing the wealth here tonight against Holy Cross.
And now a takeaway for Keanu Dawes. He stripped Gabe Warren. Here comes McHenry on a stop and start. He lays it in.
I tell you, Terrence Brown has a great turnover, but McHenry has a hesitation to a turnover that would just stop a clock almost, and that was an example. Man, is he hard to stay in front of, as is his backcourt, Terrence Brown.
Tyler Boston back in the game with those 2 fouls after Utah's reeled off 9 straight points.
Well, I was going to say a couple minutes ago, I bet Coach Paulson, if this game starts looking like it's getting out of hand, which it is, he'll get his point guard back in. No use of saving him if you're down 20. And here's that little crossover to a hesitation. And I tell you, he just froze his defender there. His defender looked like all of a sudden he had concrete overshoes on.
So Tyler Boston, who got to the free throw line 11 times and connected on 10 of them opening night at Providence. Connects on his first of 2 this trip. Tyler Boston, you mentioned the season-ending injury after 10 games last year. It was a fractured foot. And Holy Cross was kind of rolling going into league play. They had the most non-conference wins among every team in the Patriot League last year, but didn't have Boston for the 18-game league slate and wound up going just 5-13.
Well, I tell you, they can talk about positionless basketball all they want, Chris. If you don't have a point guard, you're in trouble. Not playing without a point guard is like trying to drive a car without a steering wheel, in my mind. It is the most important position on the entire court. And I tell you, the Crusaders have a dandy one in Tyler Boston.
Late in the clock here for Utah. Terrence Brown strolling end line, puts it in, plus the foul. Another 2+1 for Terrence Brown.
I'm just wondering, in Holy Cross, the scouting report, where they say this kid likes to go right. Because, I mean, you reckon he's going to go right? He went right like 1,001 times on Saturday night. Now, I can see him, blowing by at that time. The defender, you've got to shade him just a hair to that right hand, I think, to at least make him see if he can go left, which I know he can, but boy, he just blows by people with that right hand.
Now Utah now all of a sudden up to almost 60% from the field this first half as Kendall Sanders reaches in on the sophomore Aiden Richard, who's led Holy Cross here with 8 points early.
Richard is their leading rebounder, as I mentioned, also their leading offensive rebounder. You know, this is really an amazing thing for me looking at their roster. From Worcester, Mass is where the location of Holy Cross. They got 3 guys from Texas in their starting lineup.
Nugent on a catch and shoot. Wow. Cashes in. 145 career-made threes for Joe Nugent, already top 10 in Holy Cross program history.
He was their second leading scorer last year.
Somehow Terrence Brown put that one in.
I tell you, he doesn't cease to amaze you, does he? I mean, he just keeps making plays that and from the same spot on the court. Boy, what a set of hands on that.
A game-high 9 points for Terrence Brown. Disu flips it in.
Disu, one of those 3 starters from the state of Texas, got off to a great start in his career at Providence. He played 34 minutes as a first-game freshman, had 16 points, and came back to earth down at BYU where he had no points.
Nice drive and finish for Keanu Dawes.
Keanu Dawes, in my mind, last Saturday night against Weber State had a double-double, but it was a quiet double-double, I guess, because those guards were so dynamic. Keanu Dawes, he fouled out of the game, but he just kind of quietly went about his business, and all of a sudden you look up, he had his 6th career double-double.
7 straight makes from the field for Utah. Now north of 60% from the floor. Brown, crossover, step back. Missed it off the heel. The first miss in a while as Disu clears.
My point that he's still got a good shot, but I think I'd take my chance of sending him left a little bit because he ain't missed since Moby Dick was a minute going to his right, and that time going left, at least he missed about an 8-foot jump shot.
Warren misses the runner. He front rimmed it. Traore right to left for Utah. And he lost the handle.
Boy, is he struggling after one of the most impressive opening nights I've seen forever. 23 points. He had 4 steals, 3 assists, 2 blocks. Boy, he's hardly got a statistic in Saturday night's game and the first 14 minutes in this game.
More free throws for Holy Cross's Tyler Boston on the other side. Utah shooting it well, 60% from the field early, and a double-figure lead for the run-in.
Just bubbling when we interviewed him after the game the other night, wasn't he? I mean, he was just so happy with the win. He knew he had a big game, but he was so happy with the win and so happy that he could help Don McHenry have a big game. Those two have kind of become the Batman and Robin of the backcourt here in a very short period of time.
Tyler Boston is the Batman of Holy Cross's backcourt, and out there with 2 first-half fouls as Brown catches and lays it in underneath. Double figures in the opening half for Terrence Brown.
And what another great pass by Jacob Patrick. He puts that one in a teacup on the left side of the basket for Terrence Brown to go get and put up there. What a nice pass and a very acrobatic finish by Terrence Brown.
Everything but the finish for Gabe Warren on the other end. Another one-and-done possession for Holy Cross. And the Crusaders have just 1 offensive rebound almost 15 minutes in tonight.
I think they've put a huge emphasis on getting back and not giving up a 3 in transition, but boy, could sure help themselves getting to the offensive glass a little bit.
Terrence Brown over 200 made threes in 2 years at Fairleigh Dickinson. Still looking for his first in a Utah uniform. This is Disu. Got the low post positioning on Jacob Patrick, and a couple free throws for the freshman. What can Brown do for you?
How about this catch and put back in transition? A little set play and a back play, or a back pick there. And again, Jacob Patrick put it right where it had to be on the opposite side of the rim. And just an acrobatic catch and easy basket for Terrence Brown. And I think Terrence Brown made a defensive mistake there. He came over to double the post, but the post was about 2 steps off of the low block where you want to double it. Maybe I think that's a coaching philosophy type thing, but And, you know, you can practice all you want on doubling the low block. There's not a whole lot of low block catches in college basketball anymore.
And Disu splits the pair at the free throw line and exits for Declan Ryan.
Disu's a good-looking freshman, 6'7", 215. He had a brother that was all Big 12 at Texas and is playing in the G League in the NBA right now. So a really good basketball family.
Keanu Dawes throws it down, and they'll count it, plus the foul. And now they wave it off.
Well, there is some new legislation, so to speak, on continuation in college basketball this year as well. I don't know if you could call that. That may be a little past continuation. I don't know.
Initially, it said count it and one, and then quickly waved it off. So no dunk for Dawes, but it's the 6th foul on Holy Cross. In it comes. Patrick fouled on a corner jump shot.
And Patrick will be going to the line for his first time in the regular season, I believe. I don't think he's shot a free throw yet this year.
He has not. You figure he's such a good three-point shooter, he ought to be pretty good at these.
You would think.
Broadcaster's jinx.
Well, there you go, Chris.
Well, you know, it doesn't always work out that way. There are a ton of guys that shoot it better for whatever reason from three-point territory than the free throw line.
So you say. I don't know. You know, I just know you screwed the kid up. His first shot here, first free throw as a collegiate, and you know, you hexed him there. He shot that second one like he expected it to go in. He is a fabulous shooter. I tell you, that ball comes out of his hand as soft as a baby's bottom. His dad really taught him how to shoot.
Utah by 11 again. They've led by as many as 12 this first half. John St. Germain skips it in, and a foul called on Declan Ryan's low post attempt. So the 9th on Utah this first half. And the big fella from Buffalo, New York, will take a couple free throws for Holy Cross. Already their 10th and 11th attempts of the game.
You know, a huge 4.5 minutes here. If Holy Cross can kind of hang in there, keep it around 10, maybe under 10, and go in at halftime, then, you know, you kind of feel good about things. But that could also get away from them here in the last 4.5 minutes as well. And I think Coach Paulson doing the right thing, kind of rotating his guards in and out. Now, if they could keep it around 10, he'll keep Tyler Boston out, I think.
McHenry missed it off the front rim. A second bite at the apple. It's Hayes. And he puts it back. More second chance points for Josh Hayes.
Remember, I made mention of how long his reach is, and he just kind of tree-topped his defender there. If he can gain a little weight, he's going to be a heck of a player. I worry about him in league play at that slight build, but boy, he is long.
DeAndre Williams sinks the baseline jump shot. His second field goal off the bench. Holy Cross back within 10. It's Hayes with the patience and the finish, plus the foul. A chance at 3 for Josh Hayes, who has 8 opening half points.
And a really nice pass there by McHenry, and the running Utes just continue to share the ball here and get it to the appropriate guy. Great balance, great ball movement, and a basket.
First 3 games, but expected to make his Runnin' Utes debut Saturday against the Bearcats of Sam Houston.
I think where his presence will be felt more than anything, just improving the physical nature of this team. He's 6'8", 235, and I made mention that Josh Hayes, he's having a great game tonight, 6'9", 196. So all of a sudden, you stick another 40 pounds in and around that paint, your physical nature of your team, so to speak, picks up. Holy Cross still with just 1 offensive rebound in this entire half, being out-rebounded by the Utes 17-10.
Getting some more size in there. The 6'10" Chuck Hare seeing his first action, 9 minutes 2 nights ago at Brigham Young.
Another thing that Utah has really improved on, and another acrobatic play by Utah's backcourt, and Don McHenry coming off a 26-point game against Weber State on Saturday night. Utah 10 assists, only 2 turnovers. They had 13 turnovers against Weber State the other night, and I know that was a little bit of a concern probably for the Utah coaching staff.
Utah 61% from the field. Elbow jump shot. Terrence Brown short. And here comes DeAndre Williams.
He's had 2 intermediate jump shots, missed both of them tonight.
Boston walled off by Brown. Richard waits for the hair screen. Bounces to the big fella, and he floats it in.
How about that? Nice little pass, boy. Paint-to-paint pass there, and big Chuck Hare catches it. Kind of a contradiction of terms. Chuck Hare with, as you said, no hair.
I didn't say that.
You did say that. I wouldn't have made that up myself. I'm not that clever.
Sophomore from Shelton, Connecticut, his first career field goal. Didn't appear in any games last year. And an offensive foul away from the basketball on Josh Hayes. So Utah turns it over for just a 3rd time with 2 minutes left to play, and Alex Jensen will take that use it or lose it opening half stoppage. The Runnin' Utes by a baker's dozen. 2 minutes to play in the opening half when you come back. Final 2 minutes of the opening 20 in the John M. Huntsman Center, Salt Lake City, Utah. You'll want to stay with us at the half. Episode 2 of Team Together, the Runnin' Utes documentary, along with first half stats and highlights. If you were with us Saturday for that Weber State Utah game, we showed you the first half of episode 2. Today we'll show you the second half, so don't go anywhere.
I'll be right here.
You promise?
Add a little Utah history to the title of that Team Together. That was what Rick DeGeris had on the back of the practice shorts, TT, which stood for Team Together.
Williams misfires out of the timeout, and rebound for Jacob Patrick, and Obomate Abbey, as he was trying to find his footing, took an extra step, and Utah gives it right back.
You can just tell Coach Jensen and his staff are trying to get Abbey a little playing time, bringing him along a little by little. He had 10 minutes and 2 assists last game. He didn't score 0 for 1 from the field, but he's probably, I don't know if you could call Terrence Brown a point guard. He's just a really good guard, obviously, but Obomate Abbey is in fact a pure point guard, but he is a freshman as well.
A finger roll finish for Gabe Warren, who had 13 points a week ago at Providence. Second field goal for the junior out of Plano, Texas tonight. He was teammates with Utah's Keanu Dawes 2 years ago with the Rice Owls. Here's Abbey, left alone, and he buries the 3. Obomate Abbey with his second triple of the young season.
And he didn't hesitate on that. He shot that with a ton of confidence and doing a great job now of guarding Boston, the outstanding point guard for Holy Cross.
Long rebound to McHenry off the Warren miss. Now Williams picks up Don McHenry, who has 10 points in this first half. Dawes finds Abbey. Back up top to McHenry. Around the Sanders screen. McHenry on a crossover. Tried to kiss it home off the glass. Taken by Hare. Shot clock dark. Holy Cross can hold for the final attempt of the opening 20.
Pretty good individual defense there, but I believe that was Tyler Dawson guarding McHenry off of that ball screen and just simply staying down, staying between him and the basket.
Tyler Boston, short jump shot rolls off, and Abbey's heave had enough on it, but it was wide to the right. And that is how the opening 20 minutes comes to an end tonight. Utah 59% from the field, 48 first half points for the Runnin'. 48 points for Utah in the opening 20 minutes. They shot almost 60% from the field. For Holy Cross, had a big second half at Providence a week ago, hoping for the same here tonight. And second chance points right out of the second half gate for Aiden Disu as he cleaned up his own miss.
Well, he's the guy I mentioned earlier. Had a great freshman start to his game, to his career. 16 points at UConn, and then got shut out up and down in Provo last week. But he's a big old good-looking freshman, and that was a really, really nice pass.
Dawes flips it out to Terrence Brown. Up top it comes. McHenry with confidence, but he left it short, and Disu's there to grab the miss. Nugent trailing and missing the three. It bounces off to Seydou Traore.
He is a really good shooter in transition. He kind of has that little rhythmic hop as he catches the ball. He hit one in the first half like that, and that one was straight as a stick. It was just a little bit long.
Disu going coast to coast, and the freshman flips it in with a free throw on the way.
From Buda, Texas, and I mentioned his brother, an all Big 12 performer at Texas after starting his career at Vanderbilt. But it's a big old fella bringing the ball, 6'7", 215, playing through the hit. Nice play by the big freshman.
He comes from a crazy athletic family. I mentioned his older brother Dylan, all-conference talent at Texas, now in the G League, but his mom was a collegiate basketball player at UC Santa Barbara, and he's got two sisters that play Division I college volleyball at NC Central.
Pretty good genes, as they say.
Terrence Brown missed everything. Still trying to find it from three-point territory, and it's almost shocking how much he struggled now. 0 for 9 from distance for a guy that had 125 made threes last year at Fairleigh Dickinson.
Well, he's a career. I was surprised at this. He for his career, he's only shooting 28%. Now he's a high volume shooter, and he'll get better. But right now, it's so easy for him to get to the basket. He didn't have to worry about shooting it in very much.
Aiden Disu's playing in his third college basketball game ever, but you wouldn't know it with the way he's approached the beginning of this second half.
Well, you wouldn't know it looking at that body. You know, a while ago he got fouled by Terrence Brown, and you know, it's just a difference in bodies. I mean, by Josh Hayes, I'm sorry. And Josh Hayes 6'9", 196, and big Disu 6'7", 215, and there is a definite difference in those two bodies.
9 points, 5 boards for Josh Hayes tonight, but he sits with 4 fouls already.
Well, he was physically kind of mismatched there to the freshman from Holy Cross, and that is previews the coming attractions when they get to the Big 12. There's not going to be many long, skinny guys in that league. They're going to be long, strong guys.
Start to the second half for Holy Cross to cut the lead in half. Patrick can't hit. Long rebound to Boston, and he's fouled by Keanu Dawes. So you have to admire the way Holy Cross has come out of halftime, playing with a ton of urgency, and they have quickly gotten themselves back in this basketball game.
Well, remember I said if they could go into halftime around 10 down or so, it was actually 14, but they came out and shot it in pretty good, and look for this to be tooth and nail here the rest of the second half. Holy Cross with a little confidence.
Utah built a 48-34 halftime lead over Holy Cross. The Crusaders on the shoulders of true freshman Aiden Disu with 7 straight out of the break, and they've already forced Utah first-year head coach Alex Jensen into an early timeout here. He is not pleased with the way his team has started this second half, but Jacob Patrick with some leather larceny leads to the run out for Seydou Traore, who couldn't finish inside. Still hasn't scored since last Monday.
Did not score in the last game, 0 for 3 in this game. And even though Holy Cross was down 14 at halftime, they had to feel a whole lot better than last Saturday night, where at BYU were there 33 at halftime.
Keanu Dawes tried to power through some contact there, and it's another empty trip for Utah early in this second half.
I think it would be a very sound statement to say this Utah team goes through moments of mental lapses, so to speak, where they're not engaged. The first half against Weber State on Saturday night, a little bit, a couple of times in the second half against San Jose to start this, and that's what Alex Jensen's trying to get to. You got to play for 40 minutes. You can't play for 20 and then rest and not be engaged for 5 or 6, or play for 5 or 6, and it is a process when you've got this many new players.
Patrick lets it fly, misses from deep. Traore grabs his second effort. There's Terrence Brown getting back to his sweet spot in the paint, and he scores off the glass. He's got a game-high Baker's dozen in the point column.
Sweet spot is a great description. He just lives on that right block. He's still not made a three-point shot in his career, and he's not made a jump shot here tonight, but yet he is the leading scorer in the game.
First points since late in the first half for Utah. Disu up top, Boston, swing it to Nugent, and he buries the corner three.
What really good ball movement, and when Nugent saw that ball being reversed, he got set and got his hands up, and they hit him right in the shooting pocket, and he dropped that one like third period calculus.
I would have never even signed myself up for third period calculus.
Well, I was only there for a day. That's the reason I know how quick a release that was.
Abbey with a shooter's touch.
Shooter's touch. Not only his first three-point shot of the night. I thought he had one in the first game. This is his second one tonight, right?
Second triple for the True Frosh out of Finland, and for Utah, their sixth made trade tonight. Meanwhile, Joe Nugent one away from 7th place on the all-time three-point makes list in Holy Cross history. And this is a program with some rich basketball history. Tyler Boston with patience in the eye of the storm, able to Euro step around Dawes for 2.
Pretty nifty little move there by the 6-foot guard, like you say, the little Euro step through.
Tyler Boston with 8 points on 2 of 7 shooting tonight. The big 25-point game at Providence last week. Brown flutters in 2 more. He's got 15.
Difference in size there. When Brown gets it down low, Brown is not only 6'3", he's a long 6'3", and he just rolls up over Boston. Pretty acrobatic way to get to where he was shooting there, though.
Nugent can't hit from straight away. A one-and-done trip for Holy Cross. Utah has started to weather the storm here in the second half. They've connected on their last 3 shots from the field. Not often have we seen Brown and Abbey share the floor at the same time, but Alex Jensen rolling with a couple ball handlers out there right now.
Well, they're a smaller team there, and it sure helped if this guy could get going. And as he thanks the basketball gods for finally one going through.
And with Utah stretching the lead back to a dozen, Dave Paulson will take a timeout. Seydou Traore off the schneid at 5 triples, 23 points on opening night, and back on track with his first points in a week. Utah by 12, second half, Salt Lake City.
I really think psychologically he had that great game. And a lot of times guys have great shooting nights. How often do you follow that up with an awful shooting night because you think, gosh, can I do that again? And it kind of gets in your mind. Look for him to kind of settle down and be just kind of a lot more steady now rather than being 23 one game and none the next game.
Late in the clock here for Holy Cross out of the Dave Paulson timeout. Boston with a step back, almost rainbowed it through, and Dawes is there to pluck the miss off the iron. And for Alex Jensen, with 12 newcomers on this team, there will be a lot of individual ups and downs as this team starts to form its identity. That's kind of why you schedule a little softer out of the gate, knowing what's ahead in the Big 12.
You play your first 6 at home. And Obamani Abbey having a nice night tonight and getting extended minutes. I said he only played 10 minutes last game because he's playing behind two very prolific guards. He's really having a pretty good night tonight.
Tyler Boston through the contact of Abbey, and a free throw on the way after the field goal to put him at double figures. 10 points tonight for the sophomore out of Severn, Maryland.
Speaking of good guards and a good strong move, look at Tyler Boston. Look at that great finish. Chin off his chest, great concentration. Nice strong body. He's a pretty good player. I don't know where he ranks in the Patriot League in terms of preseason all conference or guards, but if there's many a whole lot better than him, I'd like to see him.
Boston sinks the free throw, takes a seat. John St. Germain is back in. Holy Cross, like many mid-majors in this day and age of college basketball, hurt by the transfer portal. They lost the Patriot League Rookie of the Year, Max Green, from a season ago, averaged 15 a game, now in the Big Ten at Northwestern. Sanders corkscrews, pitches it, Dawes out to Patrick. Up top it comes Terrence Brown, picked up by Williams, trying to get downhill. He stops on the block, powers it up, and draws a foul. A couple of free throws for Terrence Brown, number 3 and 4 of the night for Utah's leading scorer.
Home sweet home for Terrence Brown, that right block, but a little bit different look. Got there, 2-foot jump shot, shot fake, and finds himself at the free throw line.
Holy Cross losing Max Green, as we mentioned, the Northwestern. Caleb Kenny, who is the Defensive Player of the Year in the Patriot League in 2024, graduated. They also lost a player in the transfer portal to Southern Utah. Dave Paulson told us the only reason he scheduled BYU and Utah and went 2,300 plus miles away from home in Worcester was to give this kid a chance to play at home in front of friends and family. He's doing that anyway down in Cedar City with the T-Birds.
It is just a crazy world in college athletics right now with the coming and going of players and athletes across the board and on all teams.
Utah by a dozen as Nugent hits the turnaround. And that's something Dave Paulson told us. Joe Nugent was able to add to his game, kind of strictly a three-point shooter the last 2 years. He's been able to add the mid-range and drive to the basket, becoming more of a playmaker here in his third college season.
Well, remember early in the first half, he caught it on the left side of the basket down at this other basket, and you could tell he wasn't very comfortable with that. Caught it and kind of threw it back out. That time he took his time and turned over his right shoulder, his strong shoulder, because he's left-handed, and it's really a nice little shot there.
Chuck Hare picks up the personal foul away from the basketball before Don McHenry launched from the perimeter.
And it's a 10-point game.
Holy Cross kind of did this in their season opener at Providence. Had a 52-point second half against the Friars and hung around in that basketball game before eventually losing by 10. Terrence Brown speeding to the basket and earns a pair of free throws. 2 more for Terrence Brown, who's got a game-high 16 tonight following the career-best 36-point outing Saturday against Weber State.
Averaging 24 after just 2 games in his young career here at University of Utah. Also leads the team in assists with 11 coming into this game and minutes played. He's, you know, for a guy that's long and lean and doesn't have a big, strong body. I mean, he's not like he's skinny, but he plays a lot of minutes. He averaged over 35 minutes a game last year at FDU. That's a lot of minutes. I think you look at a lot of teams' rosters, Chris, you won't find many guys playing over 30 minutes a game. And he played 35 a game last year in every game.
Nugent draws 2. There's Williams, picked up by Brown, spinning down the lane, and the left-hand layup settles in. So DeAndre Williams,
sixth man
with 6 points off the bench tonight.
He's had played 28 games last year, had 16 starts, so he brings a lot of not just talent but experience when he comes into the game.
McHenry plays it back to Brown. Shot clock into single digits. Got a step on Richard and scores again at the rim. 20-piece for Terrence Brown tonight.
Just like shooting ducks in a barrel for that kid when he catches it facing the basket. I mean, it's just amazing to me how often he can get to that right hand and get all the way to the basket.
Utah has connected on its last 6 attempts from the field, but John St. Germain will try and keep Holy Cross in it with a couple of free throws when we return. The Crusaders hanging around in Salt Lake City. DeAndre Williams with a corkscrew and a finish downhill. Not to be outdone, Terrence Brown with a game-high 20 points. And pacing the Utes, up a dozen at home.
Maravich before Pete Maravich, 6 NBA championships, 13 times All-Star. It'd be wonderful to see Bob Cousy at a game, wouldn't it, at 97 years old?
There is a Bob Cousy Award given to the nation's top point guard in college basketball. That started in the early 2000s, and Utah's DeLon Wright won the award in the 2014-2015 campaign.
Utah shooting 55% for the game, and the Crusaders 48 and 35% from the three-point line.
John St. Germain Jr. out of Charlottesville, Virginia, Division II transfer from Augusta University in Georgia, was third-team All-Peach Belt last year. And after all that, an empty trip.
Wow.
There was an extra free throw given because of a Seydou Traore lane violation, and St. Germain could not capitalize. So Utah remains in front by a dozen as we stroll inside of 11 minutes to play in the John M. Huntsman Center. Brown, two-man game with Traore. Late in the clock, Terrence Brown spins and missed it. Everything but the finish for TB. Oh, the beautiful pocket pass. And that pinballed around and was last touched by Utah. That was slated to be quite the dime from DeAndre Williams if it got to John St. Germain.
If it could have bounced just a little bit harder, but he definitely threaded the needle with this. And I think Traore, or who was that? Hayes got his hand in there, I think.
A corner pop and knockdown for Joe Nugent, who has just moved into 7th place on the all-time three-point list in Holy Cross history.
So Nugent was 16 now to lead his team, one of 2 guys in double digits.
And just like that, Holy Cross back within single digits. And hung around in this second half. They've outscored Utah 22-17 since the break. Traore splashes in the 3.
2 in a row.
All of a sudden, he can't miss.
Well, 2 in a row. You know, that after missing 11, he's got to feel pretty good about things.
Aiden Disu blocked at the rim by Hayes. Recovered by St. Germain. Shot clock didn't reset. Down to 10 on the timer. Williams plays it back to Germain. Oh, and a late whistle. Foul on Terrence Brown before he took it away. Home crowd doesn't love it. Tyler Boston's on his way back in. For Holy Cross, Jacob Patrick set to check back in for Alex Jensen.
Well, actually pretty good post defense there because Nugent was getting ready to post him up, and Terrence Brown got around and got a steal, but I think there might have been a little too much contact. Obviously, Tony Padilla thought there was too much contact.
Into Nugent. Book it! His 5th triple tonight. 19 for Joe Nugent, the junior out of Berkeley, Massachusetts.
His career high is 7 made threes. Knocking on the door of that now. Boy, he caught that and shot it in a crowd. That was really a nice catch and shoot.
Traore off the bounce and draws contact after the spin. His confidence quickly rising back up for Seydou Traore after a couple of makes. And now he earns himself a trip to the foul stripe. Seydou Traore from the Bronx, New York. Freshman year at Manhattan. Put together big numbers in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. Then went up a step, played at Iowa last year. 6 points, 3 rebounds a game for the Hawkeyes. Coaching change with Fran McCaffrey out, Ben McCollum in, so he went back in the transfer portal and led Utah with 23 points and 5 triples on opening night. Mentioned the goose egg Saturday against Weber State. But right now that jump shot looks pretty pure, and all 8 of his points here in the second half tonight.
He had some monster games at Manhattan. He had one 17 rebound game, another 15 rebound game, 5 steal game. He put up huge numbers there. They talk about the heartbreak of a transfer portal, and then had that great freshman year, and then he went away. Long rebound by Abbey there. Good hustle.
Obomonte Abbey, 8 points, 5 boards off the bench tonight. A good showing for Utah's backup point guard. Traore back into the paint. The push shot taken by Dawes. Second effort for the Utes.
Dawes' 5th rebound, go along with 4 points. He's been a little bit quiet tonight in terms of scoring anyway.
5 to shoot for Terrence Brown with the mismatch. Jump stop. And short on the jumper.
0 for 3 on those pull-ups for him tonight.
Approaching 8 minutes to play in Salt Lake City. 11-point lead for Utah. Eyeing a 3-0 start. Disu draws the double. Boston. Push pass. Warren takes it downhill. Blocked by Patrick. He gets it back and draws a foul with 3.5 on the shot clock.
I tell you, one of the things I said about Jacob Patrick before, he is a very, very good shooter, but he is very, very sound at the defensive end. As I said before, if you think he plays like a coach's son, he is a coach's son, and a good one.
The 8 for his career. He has led Holy Cross with 19 points in this game and moving up the all-time 3-point make list in Crusader men's basketball history.
Well, a great catch and shoot guy. All of those coming off, moving without the ball. Great lower body lift, and then holds that follow through, which all great shooters do. Kind of a breakout game for him, Tony. He was the 2nd leading scorer last year at average 12. He started this year 10 at Providence, 4 at BYU, where he went 1 for 4 and 0 for 3. 7 for 10 tonight and 5 for 8 from the 3-point line. And he has a jump shot that is pretty as a picture.
Gabe Warren at the free throw line out of the timeout. 23 points last year in the season opener against Wisconsin. Dave Paulson told us he was never healthy again, battled through an injury the rest of the season. Says this is just his 4th career college basketball game where he's not hampered by an ailment.
Yeah, he's a good-looking kid. One of those 3 guys from Texas I talked about. Started his career, as you mentioned, at Rice. He's from Plano, Texas, which is right outside of Dallas.
Keanu Dawes thunders it through off the McHenry miss.
Keanu Dawes caught that and threw it down like a chubby kid on a teeter-totter. I tell you what, he has a real knack for offensive rebounding.
8 second chance points for the running Utes tonight. 7 offensive rebounds. St. Germain missed it. A rebound for Traore. Utah by a baker's dozen. 7 minutes to play in Salt Lake City tonight. Obo Mate Abbey around the high screen set by Dawes.
The Crusaders get to go home after starting the season with 3 straight road games and play Hampton later this week.
Seydou Traore finding a rhythm in the second half. All 10 of his points since the break. Utah by 15. This is their largest lead tonight.
You know, that game he had 23. He only had 5 points at halftime there and exploded for 18 in the second half. So it's kind of setting a trend of being a second half guy, I guess you could say.
Holy Cross has hit a tough stretch here. They haven't scored in more than 3 minutes. And that has allowed Utah to build this lead to 15. McHenry across the floor, one more Traore. He's got the hot hand in the second half. He backs in Richard, a no-look feed. McHenry off the heel. Long rebound to St. Germain. 6 minutes to play.
Pretty good team defense by the Crusaders there across the board.
Tyler Boston lost it. A steal for Obo Mate Abbey. Productive minutes for the freshman off Alex Jensen's bench tonight.
Terrence Brown out of the game now, and Abbey kind of running the show.
Utah looking for a haymaker. It's Dawes stripped inside. Here comes Tyler Warren. And a blocking foul called. It's on Obo Mate Abbey, who tried to get his feet set outside of that restricted area to draw a charge. And nobody better than Joe Cravens to tell us block or charge.
That's a charge. That's a block. I mean, Abby tried, and I appreciate him sticking his nose in there, but that's a tough situation when guys bringing at you full speed like that and you're backpedaling.
You know, if you would have had that outburst in Cheney 25 years later, I think he would have gone viral on TikTok or some sort of social media app.
It won't die, Chris. It just won't die.
Well, I mean,
kind of think people forgot about it, and all of a sudden it raises its ugly head.
We had fun looking at that on Saturday when a couple of your old teams got together.
Sure. Well, I own it. I mean, that was me. Like I say, there's kind of a backstory to it that I wish I could tell, but it would take too long.
Terrence Brown lost the handle, recovered by McHenry. Shot clock into single digits for the Runnin' Utes. Boston harassing Traore. Dawes, push pass, corner pop. Kendall Sanders couldn't hit. Rebound to Williams. 5 minutes to play. Holy Cross hasn't scored in 4.5 minutes. Warren picked up by the freshman Sanders. They'll reset with Williams out top. Now Tyler Boston directing traffic. Late in the clock for Holy Cross. Boston skips it. Williams backing in Traore, has it slapped away. Oh, the defensive intensity continues to pick up for Utah, and Brown with a hard collision draws a foul, and will take more free throws for Utah.
Nice hands by Seydoux there, going up on the jump shot. Just a theft there. Nice hands. You know, he had the other night when he had 23 points, he also had 4 steals, and I thought, well, that's got to be a career high. And I went back and looked at both his Iowa and his Manhattan stats. He had 2 5-steal games at Manhattan. As I said earlier, he had some monster games at Manhattan. 17 rebounds, 5 steals. He put up some pretty impressive numbers there as a freshman.
Terrence Brown on that hard foul. It appears Tony Badia, Mark Fulton, D.G. Nelson will review it. And apparently this is at the request of Dave Paulson.
Play is being reviewed for a flagrant foul.
Dave Paulson, Holy Cross's third-year head coach, asking this crew to take an extended look at that last sequence where Terrence Brown got way up off the hardwood.
I wonder if they're reviewing if Terrence Brown hooked whoever that was and brought him to the ground.
Joe Nugent, Holy Cross's leading scorer tonight.
Nothing there.
And a very short review. Nothing comes of it. As we still dust off the cobwebs and learn of these new college basketball rules, it was not a challenge put forth, because you can't challenge something like that. But Dave Paulson essentially appealed the call on the floor and asked for the review. And it was a very quick review. And there are new rules, new language this year in college basketball. The one challenge, we saw Alex Jensen challenge in the first half. It was a successful challenge, so he didn't lose a timeout. Can't take more than 2 challenges in the game, but the challenges are a welcomed addition to college basketball, don't you think?
Oh, I think so, but like you said, we gotta work through it. We got to get to where it's efficient and it doesn't take long, and everyone is on the same page and understands. Which right now, everyone is not on the same page, I don't believe.
Terrence Brown splits the free throws. Utah by 16. Holy Cross in the midst of a 5+ minute scoring drought. Boston swings it up top to Williams. Richard picked up by Traore. Nugent sets the screen. Richard takes it in on Patrick and muscles it home for 2.
Good defense by Patrick, though. You very seldom see Patrick get beat off the dribble. What he did there is what he's supposed to. Stay down and make the guy try to score over you. That time he did. But you play the percentages, a lot of time they won't.
Oh, Terrence Brown got hit across the face by DeAndre Williams. He certainly didn't do it intentionally, but off the feed from Seydoux Traore, Terrence Brown a little shaken up. More free throws for Terrence Brown, who's got a game-high 21 points tonight, as Utah tries to put the finishing touches on a 3-0 start to the new college basketball season. scoreless outing on Saturday has put together a big second half for Utah. All 10 of his points and 8 rebounds. Good chunk of those after the break.
Boy, it really seems like he has found his rhythm. He's really getting to that jump shot, holding his follow through, big strong body. I knew he would rebound from going 23 to nothing. He'd come back somewhere in between. He's going to be a good player. He does a lot of things too. That big strong body. He's a good defender, good rebounder. He will have a really good year. I'm glad he's back, kind of feeling good about his jump shot.
Keanu Dawes gets to the rim and scores it. Dawes has 8 points tonight, and Utah has stretched the advantage to 16. Tyler Boston flips it out to Williams, and he sticks the 3.
That's a really nice pass. Boston threw that with his left hand from in the paint, and his old teammate, DeAndre Williams, spaced up and created an uncontested passing lane to make that a whole lot easier for Boston to get that ball to him.
Traore lets it fly. Misses this one, and it's taken by Disu. 3 minutes to play in a 13-point game. Utah 8 of 24 from 3-point territory tonight. Boston with the skip. Williams again. This time can't hit. Nugent on the offensive glass. He'll swing it out to Boston. He'll load up from deep, and Dawes is there to grab it.
Holy Cross missed a couple good looks at 3 there. Nice ball movement. Just couldn't get either one of them to go down.
Made 10 or more threes 17 times last year. Finished 10th in the country at 39% from distance, but just 8 of 21 tonight, following a 3 of 22 showing from the perimeter Saturday in Provo. Late in the clock for the run in Utes. It's McHenry off balanced and fouled with 5 to shoot. So Don McHenry hasn't had to do as much tonight as what we saw him do down the stretch Saturday against Weber State, but it's another game in double figures early in his Utah career, following a near 1,000-point career in 2 years at Western Kentucky.
Well, he's over 1,500 points now in his career. Of course, some of that is he was a junior college All-American, started his career at Hawaii Hilo Division II school, left there and went to junior college in Iowa, where he was Indian Hills, a really high-profile junior college, JUCO All-American, then had a terrific 2 years at Western Kentucky. He has a chance to get to 2,000 points, I think, this year, Chris. 2,000 career points, not here at Utah.
Corner pop from Nugent, almost banked it in, which, if you've ever shot a basketball from the corner, nearly impossible to do.
They've missed their last 3 three-point shots now.
Issue with the timer here, just outside of 2 minutes. So Utah on the verge of a 3-0 start here. Didn't have to come from behind in the second half like they did in both games last week against San Jose State and Weber State. And you look ahead, Sam Houston comes to town on Saturday, and a couple games next week against Purdue, Fort Wayne, the Mastodons, and the Cal Poly Mustangs, before heading out to Palm Springs to play in the Acrisure Classic, where they'll open against Grand Canyon, a Mountain West newcomer this year. So the schedule only gets tougher for Utah as you creep closer to December. And a takeaway here for Tyler Boston. Lob it up. Disu couldn't catch it, and Traore knocked it away.
Nice defensive play by Traore, getting back and just getting a hand in there and taking away a possible lob pass to a easy basket.
Boston picked up by the big fella, Kendall Sanders. It's Richard knocking down the 3. And Dave Paulson will take timeout. Holy Cross not done just yet with 1:41 to play. They've trimmed the Utah lead to 12. And Aiden Richard has knocked down 3 triples tonight. 79-67, 1:41 to play. A little more. Well, the Holy Cross Crusaders, almost the opposite of what Utah is doing to open the year, playing their first 6 games away from home in Worcester, Massachusetts. Their next couple of games will be much closer to home at Brown in the Ivy League. Play a neutral site game at Brown against Hampton. Then they'll take on Brown, the host of that multi-team event, before closing out the 6-game road swing to open the campaign at Sacred Heart, their home opener on November 24th, a Monday, against Siena from the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. 3 high majors out of the gate, and then mid-majors to the finish line for Holy Cross. This is a group that hopes to get better as time rolls along, and playing much better tonight than what we saw 2 nights ago in Provo.
Well, that might have been one of the toughest challenges for a road game. I mentioned early, and I talked to Coach Paulson about it. You fly across 2 time zones. You play the 8th-ranked team in the nation on their court at altitude, and one reason they shot so bad, besides all that, I've always thought BYU, your first trip down there, is a tough place to shoot. So Dave Paulson, nothing's really going to shake him up too much as long as he's been around.
Look out below, a 2-hand jam for Keanu Dawes. Utah was able to break the full court pressure with ease. Richard can't hit. Rebound, Terrence Brown. And Utah can feel it now on the cusp of a 3-0 start. Disu sends Abby to the floor. And with Utah in the penalty, a 1-and-1 free throw situation for Obo Mate Abby.
And a nice left-handed pass by Kendall Sanders there. I think he was going to turn and attack the basket. He had 3 guys around him. Remember, he's right-handed. He just turned and made a really nice little flip there. Keanu Dawes, you let him get a free rein to the basket like that, he's not going to miss many of those.
Utah, one of 3 Big 12 teams in action tonight. 16th ranked Iowa State, 96 points. Beat Chris Jans and Mississippi State 96-80 earlier tonight. TCU, they were upset a week ago by the Southland Conference's New Orleans Privateers. Took care of the Southland tonight, 78-65 over Lamar. Tomorrow it's an absolutely loaded slate for the Big 12, and you figure 11th ranked Texas Tech will get tested as they go to 14th ranked Illinois. So things starting to take shape in the early college basketball season. Disu can't hit from the corner, and a foul on Holy Cross. They sent 2 after Keanu Dawes, who grabbed the miss.
Well, Holy Cross is just kind of, they're down double digits, getting close to 20 points. They're just kind of playing shoot, follow, and holler right now. Just 1 or 2 passes to launch it from the 3-point line. They'll be sure be glad to go home. I've talked to their SID, who's a great help, and to Coach Paulson. They enjoyed the scenery here in the state of Utah, but little else. The hospitality between BYU and Utah was not something you want to experience more than about once a year.
So Joe Nugent, on a night where he leads Holy Cross with 19 points, 5 triples, fouls out of the game here with 67 seconds to play. And now Dave Paulson will get some of his deeper reserves some late time, including Jude Haig, who was the 4A Utah State Player of the Year at Green Canyon High School up in North Logan. So there's a local tie for you. I mean, they scheduled this game for a kid that's not on the roster anymore, but it's a homecoming of sorts for Jude Haig, whose mother was a sharpshooter, one of the best all time at Notre Dame for the Fighting Irish in your home state.
That's way up north. I'm down in God's part of Indiana,
okay.
Southern Indiana.
I didn't know. The man above didn't claim the northern region of that state.
He's a Southern Indiana guy.
Shooter's touch for DeAndre Williams, who has 11 points off the bench tonight. They'll put an extra tick on the timer here, 59.7. Utah by 16. Holy Cross still employing the full court pressure. We'll see if the Crusaders foul.
Oh, I think they'll just play this out. No real sense in fouling now, down 16 with under a minute to go.
So the Utes, who built a 14-point lead at the half, Holy Cross got as close as 7. And Utah wound up putting them away. Terrence Brown, hands off. Keanu Dawes thunders it through. The exclamation point for Utah tonight. Williams on a quick pull-up. It trickles off, shot clock dark, Dawes grabs the rebound, and that should do it. Utah with its largest margin of victory in the Alex Jensen era, and they win it going away tonight, 87-69. Your final score as Terrence Brown dribbles out the final seconds here at the John M. Huntsman Center. And Utah halfway through this 6-game season opening homestand. They are perfect.
Well, I thought they got better, and that's what they need to do